I think that an anthropological approach to the protection of heritage would take account of the fact that there are many stakeholders in any field where people claim heritage. And that it's important to not just have a heritage claim based with just a few stakeholders, such as an elite that worries about Stone Town in Zanzibar because it's good for the government and it's good for the tourists. There's an example in Zimbabwe that is interesting in that respect. Simon Makavuza, who is the director of the Matobo Hills World Heritage Site, which was, I think, primarily selected because of its natural heritage, worries about the fact that it also has an important history, not least in the Matabele Wars, which were sort of some of the closing scenes of colonizing Zimbabwe, which involved the famous, or I should maybe say the infamous Cecil Rhodes. And Cecil Rhodes is buried in the Matobo Hills on one of these picturesque mountains that form part of natural heritage. And Simon has talked to me about how difficult he finds it that a UNESCO declaration cannot incorporate more uses of the same heritage site. Not just isolating the natural heritage, but in this case also taking in some of the historical elements of the landscape. UNESCO itself has made steps in that direction by allowing now for some kind of mixture of natural and cultural heritage, and I think that's a very good step forwards. But one of the problems, I guess, is that for an anthropologist who wants to advise on heritage management, you would have to allow for other heritage designations than just the World Heritage focus of UNESCO. And that would have to be allowed as part of a management plan or a management process. So it involves more participants, more different users of the heritage site. So that opening up is, I think, a very important part of what an anthropologist would think is more viable. And of course, that is precisely what the historic urban landscape approach in Zanzibar tries to achieve, which doesn't mean that it's easy to do that, because negotiating, as you can imagine, between the very small scale stories of people in a certain neighborhood and the urban designs and urban planning that takes place at a much higher scale, negotiating those different levels so that more people are happy with the result is not an easy task. It requires it requires research in how you can skip those, how you can jump from a lower scale level to a higher scale level. And that's where I think we need more research to, in fact, find out what is possible.